So, hi all, welcome to another episode of Oscode Talks. Today we have Yash Shetty with us. We are friends, we are in the same class, same club, same team, same hobbies. But for the benefit of the viewer, we will start with your introduction.
So, hi everyone, this is Yash Shetty, and I'm a web developer of profession, and I love to solve problems, and I'm interested in chess.
Not
I'm
only
doing my internship at Fidelity.
yes, and he also recently got an offer from PhonePe. He cracked that also. And in chess, not only is he interested, he is very good, and he represented our college at the VTU circuit level chess competition.
State level.
Yes. And your FIDE rating?
I'm not FIDE.
Okay.
Like I have a chess.com rating of 1800.
1800, which is
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Okay. So let's start with your first internship.
Yeah.
Fidelity.
Yeah.
What was the selection process like?
So initially there was an OA online assessment. So it included a quiz, like it had some coding questions, like 2 coding questions. One was very easy, like just removing the duplicates. Second one was just trying see of receptionist, and there are 2 algorithm-based questions where you have to write only the approach which you would like. For example, you did not have to code it; you just have to write the pseudo. And the other part was the quiz, which was based on basic aptitude test, like
Core subjects
Yeah.
and aptitude.
that time there was no 4 subjects because we were in second year.
Yes.
That's why.
Correct.
Yeah. So after passing the OA, we had two interviews. One was the technical interview and one was the HR interview.
Mm.
So coming to my technical interview. So first I should tell that my CV was entirely DSA based. I had like zero experience on web development. I just started HTML, CSS and some basic JavaScript. So I did not think it was proper to put some HTML, CSS basic project in my CV. So I made sure that my DSA thing was highlighted properly, and my interview was going to go in that direction.
So you mentioned some project or no project?
I had mentioned some DSA projects which we had done in 3rd or 4th sem.
Got it.
So, yeah. So, in my interview, the interviewer was very polite and nice. She asked me some basic DSA questions, gave me some questions as well based on linked list, tags and queues, which I was able to answer. And one thing which I would like to tell is, whenever you prepare your resume, make sure to include the skills which you know. Like you should not
Don't show off.
bluff. Yeah, I should not bluff. Because I had included HTML, CSS. So she was like, you have included HTML, CSS, but you don't have any projects on that. So then I had mentioned that I'm learning HTML, CSS and JavaScript as of now. But I don't think that my project is quite good enough to put in my resume. And I mentioned some interest in AI, ML and cloud. So even based on that, she asked, like, why do you want to learn AI? So in that, I had answered that due to my interest in chess, there are many chess engines available in the world, and they use neural networks to predict moves, make good moves. So that was all that they had asked me in interview. They had basic DSA questions which I had answered, and coming to HR interview, the basic HR, like what are your strengths and weaknesses, how are you a team player, what would you do in this situation? They are giving me this situation, and why do you want to join Fidelity? That's the basic questions. So yeah.
And what did you ask at the end? They give you one chance.
Yeah, they told me, do you have any feedback? So I asked, during my technical interview, I asked, like, how could I improve? So she said that based on your resume, you know everything which you have mentioned, so it's quite good. Just make sure of your presentation skills. And in HR, I didn't ask any questions because it didn't make sense to me to ask questions in HR. So yeah, that was my
Selection
process in Fidelity.
So now you are selected. You went to Fidelity. What was your experience like? Your best moments, funniest moments?
Funniest.
When you were most scared?
So like the first meeting with my manager and my mentors.
Okay.
So the first meeting, they told me, like, we will be working on this problem statement.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, sure. Then my manager was like, okay, so can we expect the project to be done by tomorrow? And I was like, it's
Yeah, sir.
so yeah. One more funny thing, like my manager, he told me like we'll be working on this tech stack that is Angular and Flask. So I asked him like, will we be working on Angular JS or Angular? Like Angular JS is like the deprecated version, and Angular is like the newer version. So he replied like, no, we'll be working on Angular JS. So I prepared for Angular JS. I studied it for 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, I got connected with a front-end engineer, and he was like, no, we will work on Angular. So it was like my 2 weeks got wasted.
Okay.
But the work environment was very good. Like the manager was very supportive, and my mentor was too chill. Like we had daily meetings at 2:30, 3, but he rarely joined. He joined once in 2 weeks. Once in 2 weeks he joined, and he'd give me a load of work. Like he'd come today, he'd tell like, can you build the UI interface by tomorrow?
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I will try. I'll build the UI, but I don't know about the backend. I'll build the front-end part. So yeah, it was very nice. Like I did not have any prior experience of Angular or Flask.
Development in general.
Yeah, development in general. Like before joining, I learned React Monstack, but in Fidelity, it was quite a different experience, and I would say it was a very good experience because I learned new technologies, and I also got to design databases, like for my application, and my application was built on something called as NiFi, where you manage clusters, so you can have different clusters.
Your
like
project was on?
like managing clusters, like EKS clusters on NiFi. So NiFi is like a tool where you can transfer data from different types of source and destination.
Okay.
So it's not necessary that I have a EKS cluster, so I can transfer it to another EKS cluster as well. You can transfer EKS to ECS or Kafka. That the tool takes care of. So yeah, there I got exposure to cloud technologies like Jenkins and Kubernetes, etc. And my mentor, he was heavily focused on, he was a data engineer. So I learned a lot from him, like how to design databases, how to integrate APIs, and he even gave me resources like where to learn, like, like data is like the next big thing. So you have to learn basics of data, like data visualization, data mining, etc. So yeah, that was my experience, a very good experience, I would say, at Fidelity.
So after Fidelity, you tried for PhonePe recently only.
Yeah.
And you got selected.
Yeah.
So before we get into PhonePe, explain to a first year junior how he should go about learning DSA and getting into CP.
Yeah. So I'll recommend them on the basis on what mistakes I have made.
Yes.
So initially I started DSA. I completed like 30 to 40%. Then I moved on to CP, like hardcore CP, code chef, code forces grinding. But that did not help because after a certain limit, like after you reach 3-star, they'll ask DP questions.
You need to know DP.
You need to know DP. And there are some specific CP related topics that you need to study as well. So I would recommend that you complete your DSA first. Or if you have started web development, you complete web development. Like you learn the MERN stack fully, or MERN or mean stack, anything you want. You learn it completely, then move on to other subject. It should not be like that. You jump from one thing to other because you won't complete both the things. If you complete one thing, you master one thing, then you go to the other subject. So I will suggest that if you take up DSA, then you fully complete it. Or if you take web development, make it to a good level, then you start DSA, because like DSA is important. Every company, even if you have good development skills, if you can't pass the online assessment, DSA around, it's of no use, right? And big companies, found companies, for that you have to have a good knowledge on DSA. So I would suggest them to learn DSA, and I'll also suggest that you don't pay for any course. You'll get good courses online for free, YouTube. For DSA based, I'll suggest Striver, Your Purpose. You have Apna College. And for web development, Angela U, the basic one. Then in YouTube, you have Free Code Camp. That's, I think, the best one out there. And you learn web development by doing projects. So you should look up for some projects and learn. It should not be like you're learning theory. You should learn along with the project, like the implementation part. So
Build and learn.
Build and learn. That's the fastest way of learning, and that's the most practical way, because you'll remember that. If you just mug up it's like theory, then it's of no use. So yeah, that's how I would tell a junior to approach.
PS. Secondly, another thing that they ask juniors specifically is how to manage time between studying for DSA placement, web dev, and with the college task. Which should be given more weightage, more time? What did you do?
So, speaking quite honestly, like my first
Speak honestly.
first year, it was like 60% I used to attend classes all the time. Like I had 80 to 90% attendance. So I think that was quite a mistake on my part. Like I gave more focus on college. Like I had a good CGPA. Like in first year I had 9.5 CGPA. So it helped me, but still I thought that if I had done something else in my first year, I could have been much.
Even better.
Yeah. So I would say that you have to manage somehow. Like as of now, we only study a day before exam. You just have to download PDF. You just have to study all the important previous year questions.
One all lighter, even.
Yeah, like you know that it's divided into part A or part B. So study just part A and give the exams. Marks won't matter that much. As long as your CGPA is above it, I don't think it won't matter. And yeah, that's it.
Now let's get into PhonePe.
Yeah.
What was the first round like? The online coding round?
Online coding, they had 3 DSA questions.
3 questions.
First one was basic string question. And second one was DP, dynamic programming. And third one was kind of tough question, which I would say, which use map concepts. And the rest, there were like 21 questions. So the rest 18 questions, they were MCQs, course CS subjects, DVMS and CNS and OS. So that was the online assessment. Now coming to the interview, which was scheduled the next day.
If you're not wrong, you guys did more than 12 hours of interviews, non-stop.
It started at 9.
Okay.
The pre-placement talk started at 9. And the interview was preponed. Preponed by an hour.
Okay.
So
at 8 you started?
Yeah. No, the interview was scheduled to start at 11:30.
10:30.
But it started at 10:30. And
went on till 6 or 7.
It went on till 6:30. Till 6:30, and the results took 1.5 hours to come.
Completely drilled you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like three rounds. So initially we had thought it would be 2 technical and 1 managerial. But it turned out like 2 rounds were technical and 1 was techno-managerial. So the hiring manager was...
Even he was asking technical.
Yeah, he was asking technical question. So coming to my first round, like initially what we had expected was like we'll be completely grilled on DSA.
Yes.
Which was what the most PhonePe interviews look like.
DP and graph, that's it.
Yeah. But to our surprise, the first person who went and he was like, they asked me DSA questions, but they also asked me core CS concepts like DVMS, OS, CNS, and also OOPS. So we are completely...
And the online coding round was just 1 day before. So you guys had no time.
Yeah, we had no time. So for preparing for the technical part, I just revised my DP graph and trees. But asking core CS subjects, it was like totally out of the box. Like I did not prepare for that. So it was quite a shock. But you had no time. Like I had my interview scheduled at third or fourth batch. So somehow I opened the interview bit, I scrolled past OS and DBMS questions, and my first in technical interview, the person, like, the first question he was like, which subject are you familiar with, or which subject are you comfortable with? So I replied with OS. So he was like, okay, tell me, like, he asked me some questions which we had studied in our fifth sem, like consumer producer problem, synchronization, locking, etc., page scheduling algorithms, this scheduling algorithms. So I answered that. Then he went on to DBMS, like what are the normalization forms, and then he came to CNS, like what is the difference between TCP, UDP, what is encryption, difference between encryption and hashing. So yeah, and in first round, he asked just basic DSL, like what is tree, and if there's a sorted array, like if you make a tree from the first node, it will be a skewed tree, right? So how to change this skewed tree, what data structure you'll implement. So you need to know about red, black trees and avian trees.
Too very deep they went.
Yeah.
Pure CP.
Pure DSL. Like they didn't ask to solve question in the first round, but yeah, they checked my theoretical.
Red, black tree, Fenwick tree. This is even beyond basic DSL.
Yeah. So you should know quite a good amount.
You should be good at CP.
Yeah. And at the end, they asked me a simple puzzle, like, it's if the time is 3:15, what's the angle between the minute and the minute? So that was the first round, and I was not, like, it went quite okay, but I was not sure. But then the results came out, like out of 32, 14 got selected in the second round, and the second round was like the most important round. So I went to the second round. So the first thing which he asked me was like, draw the system design of your project.
And your project was?
And my project was a social media website.
Okay.
Stack. So I was quite shocked, like, why are they asking system design? So I honestly replied, like, sir, I can draw the schema of my database. So he was like, yeah, go ahead. So I drew the schema, and he cross-questioned me, like, how are you storing the image on your MongoDB? So I replied with a query. Then moving on to DBMS, he asked me to write 2 SQL queries. Like, he showed me three tables, then told me to fetch this data, like 3 queries. So it was okay, like I could do it. Then coming on to a DSA problem, he asked me a code medium question, like reverse forward single string. So yeah, I was able to do that question, and he was satisfied.
Your preferred language is Python or CPP?
I used C++.
Okay.
But initially I thought that Python would be easier, like you could just split the string, split the list, and just reverse the list. So, but while writing, I forgot the syntax of Python because he was doing it in an online compiler, not on the lead code compiler. Because in lead code, you can have like autocomplete. Yeah, but online compiler, they don't have autocomplete. So I told him that, can I try it in C++? So he was like, yeah, fine. He was very supportive. Then he moved on to my internship experience, like what all work I did on my internship. Why did I use, like, how did you store data? Like in my project, I used JWT. So he asked me, like, what storage method did you use in your project? So I replied that I use session storage. Like, why did you use all these questions? And then came the most important thing that I think is that I had a different project which nobody had. So my interest lies in chess, as you know. So I built a chess in.
And the interviewer was also interested
in
chess.
And the interviewer was also interested in chess. So he was like, show me what this chess engine looks like. So,
by the way, a chess engine without any ML.
Yeah, without any even just HTML, CSS, and pure JavaScript.
Yes.
It does not use any bots or APIs. It's not integrated. So yeah. So he was a chess enthusiast as well. So he was like, how did you build this? Like, what all data structures you use? So I replied, like, I use these chess specific algorithms to build it. And he even asked me, like, did you build it on your own? I was like, you should be completely honest. Like, no, I learned it from YouTube, but it was my interest, so I built it. So he was quite impressed. Then afterwards, everything went quite well.
He played with that engine.
He played with
He
that
won.
engine as
I
well.
think he lost.
He lost. He thought that my engine was very weak because I did not use any ML model.
But he lost.
Yeah, because my engine, it can beat anyone in this college. Like,
If it can beat you, it can beat him.
yeah, it's like 2000 rating.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was quite impressed because I was able to explain it everything.
You outsmarted the interviewer.
Then finally, I asked for my feedback. Then he was like, you should know system design. You should know design principles. It's important even for a fresher. Like, most companies won't ask system design, but you should have some knowledge. Like, what are solid principles? What is system design?
At that moment, what were you feeling? Confident, low?
Initially, I was underconfident because the first question I was blown. Like, what is system design? Why didn't I study it?
But by the end,
By the end, I was back on track because I was fully confident. Like, he's impressed. So after waiting for like 1.5 hours, I got a call for the third round. So it was the manager. So he was very polite. He was very good. Again, the topic went on like what all. The first question he asked was like the internship question. Like, did you build it on your own or did you have any teammates? So I told him that I built it on my own. And what I feel was like before Fidelity, my resume was fully DSA based. But after Fidelity, I gained quite a lot of knowledge and I loved web development more than DSA. So my CV was like internship and project based. So I think that's the reason why most of my interview was based out of my internship and project. So I would say that if you are more on the development side, you should have a good project and you should thoroughly know the project so that you can steer through your interview. And regarding the third round, the manager, he was like, what all concepts have you used? Can you adapt to new technologies? So you should answer it accordingly. Like in my Fidelity, Angular and Flask were new to me. So I explained him like, I learned these technologies while I was working. So I'm quite adaptable to new technologies. And he gave some situational problems like you have like 4 GB RAM disk and 100 GB file where all the it contains names and all the names are sorted. So how will you process if you want to find these things? But I told you like we can first brute force is that we can partition it into size which is appropriate and then we can find it, or simply we can apply binary search to find the thing. And he also asked some data structure questions as well. And at the end, he asked me, what did you learn out of internship? How was your mentor? How was your manager? So my third round would be the most chill round, I would say. Like it was an open discussion. I was telling what I had learned, what I was going to learn in future. Like I'm thinking of learning cloud because of my previous internships. So yeah, then after waiting for like 1 and 1.5 hours, so out of the 14 students who got selected in the second round, 8 students got into the third round. And out of these 8, I was the third person who got selected. So only 3 people got selected. So yeah, that was my experience at the interview.
A very long process and very tiring. You ate something for the entire day?
I had my lunch at 1:30.
Okay.
After that, I didn't have anything, even water. I was quite nervous. Like I didn't expect like it would be this long. Even the result took 1.5 hours. We are waiting.
Or 90 minutes you were full.
We are fully anxious. Like everyone was waiting. Everyone was praying. But when the HR came and she took out the name, then
What was your reaction and that moment?
initially I was shocked. Like I thought there were much better candidates than me, but I got selected. It was like I couldn't believe, and it's
You are still in shock.
I'm still in shock. Like I can't explain.
No man, you truly deserved it. You have worked hard on CT.
Yeah.
So
So I would like to say that if you're doing CP and if you're good at it, then it's no problem. If you're doing the web development like Sudhanshu, it's no problem. You have to just focus on what you're doing. You have to make sure that you're doing it correctly and you have knowledge about it.
be honest.
And be honest. It should not be like my friend is doing web development, I'm doing CP, I also start web development, I'll stop my CP. No, you have to do a thing which is your interest, where your interest lies in. So that helps the most. Yeah.
Anything else you would like to add before we move on to the final question?
No, I think I've said enough.
Precisely, you have said everything that one needs to do. Very nice. So, if you are transported back to the first year, what will you change?
The main mistake which I made, like jumping from
DSA and web.
DSA and web dev. So first, what I would like to do is complete my DSA within like 3-4 months. Then I'll give my whole time to web development. I tried app development, like Flutter development, but my system it did not support. It gave up. So I thought web development was a good option. Then while doing web development, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, it was like a plus point to me. Initially, like honestly speaking, I thought DSA is quite good. Like, why do people do development and stuff? DSA is like solving problems. But once you get into web development, you'll be like, what? Like, why do we do DSA? It's of like practical use. Like, but it's not DSA versus web development, CP versus web development. It's DSA with web development.
Correct.
So you should do both. Both are important. You can't do one, like you can't just do CP and but if you are doing CP, you should be in the top 0.1%. You should in order to get a good paying job like the high trading firms. But yeah, you should be having knowledge on both these topics, which I think work together.
Very, very insightful. Okay. So, we have discussed almost everything.
Yeah.
What do you think is the benefit of joining a tech community, either online, on Discord, or in groups, or offline? Should we do it? Should we not do it?
We should definitely do it. Like here, you will meet new people. You will learn about new technologies, which are the latest in the market. Like for example, there's a new UI tool called Shetty, which released just now. So if you don't have knowledge about these tech communities, you won't be able to get thorough knowledge of new technologies. So joining new communities, you will meet new people, you'll make connections, and making connections is one of the most important things that you must do in college.
Correct.
Because making connections, you'll explore wide areas. Like for now, you will think that okay, web development is just web development, but then you will come out of that bubble. You will see, okay, we have app development, we have cyber security, we have UI UX design, and many other stuff. DevOps, ML ops, new subject like machine learning and DevOps. So yeah, that should be there.
A lot to learn for our juniors from this talk.
Yeah.
Final question: what are your future plans?
So currently I'm thinking of doing my job like for a year or two. Then if my mind gets changed, then mostly I'd pursue my master's, mostly in data analytics. Because due to chess I'm interested in, I want to build my own chess engine. Like this was a very basic level. I have not integrated any neural networks. But if you look at other chess engines, like there's a chess engine called Stockfish, which is a free open source. Even you can contribute to that. So I want to build something like that, which is built by like many people together, and that fascinates me a lot. And that is built on C++, so that's a very good plus point because I code in C++. So yeah, that's what I want to do.
Chess engines and Go engines. Go is another game.
The Go is another game.
Chess, I think most of them
Chess is like comparatively simpler than Go.
much simpler than Go.
Yeah, because if you have a chess board, you have 20 moves at the start, but in Go it's like 120 or 200.
Exponentially larger.
Yeah.
The base you will have in Go.
There's a documentary of DeepMind.
Yes, DeepMind, I watched it.
It's really fascinating.
Yes.
Humans versus AI, that whole part interests me.
Chess engines are now basically unbeatable. They have reached that stage.
Yeah.
Go, they are still trying to be perfect. They're still not completed.
Chess engines, like if you have less than 8 pieces, it's technically solved.
Yes.
Yep.
It knows the exact move.
You have databases, you can't do anything. Yeah.
Very nice. I think we can continue this off camera. Very nice talking with you. Congrats once again, bro.